I'm gonna close my door because it feels less awkward. I don't know why I have my headphones on, but okay. Not like there's music or anything, not even game. Ugh. HR Shake 26. Hi! Are you a real person or not? I don't know. But hi! So... Oh, you're real! Oh, that's wonderful. So today I was rummaging through... Oh, I don't know what I was rummaging through. I think my sketchbooks and stuff. That's such a small size. Let's go with... Well, 5,000 seems way too much. We specialize in Twitch promotion. Visit... I don't know that one is. So... I guess maybe this size will be perfectly fine. Nope, that is an awful size. I'll just use my tool to reshape that. So I found an old notebook that I have, and I'm just gonna read some of the things that I wrote. I think this was one of the dreams I had that night, and I think this was the final moment of the dream or something. This is gonna be embarrassing to read. This happened probably more than 10 years ago. I don't know. The dream has all these weird characters and an unusual school. Apparently the dream... I don't know what sort of information I got from the dream, but apparently the school in the dream housed some sort of powerful being that can grant any wish. However, there is a chance that it might destroy the world when used instead. And so the dream has this final moment. Almost, the weird thing about dreams is it starts anywhere. So I want to draw some of the characters that had appeared in that dream. There was a girl nicknamed Ellie, a student council leader, and several characters that I know very little about. But there was a protagonist in the dream. Their theme color was red, and I don't know why there's the nickname Lonely Lion in it. I wrote, I don't know much about her or them. They're brave, friendly, selfless, has some kind of hidden power, and doesn't need a partner, designated or otherwise. And other than that, I know very little about them. I imagine that, well, I'm gonna use red for her, or them. Don't really know. You can't... Ooh, I hear sleep paralysis is really bad. I knew this guy who had sleep paralysis, and he said that any sensation that he has experienced while awake sometimes experiences it during sleep paralysis, and it's terrible. But if he burnt himself a little bit, he can feel that whole sensation 10 times worse when he has sleep paralysis. That sounds like a horrifying experience. Let's see. I imagine that whoever Lonely Red is will have short hair. Especially since I don't know what they look like. I imagine short, sort of spiky hair. For whatever reason. And I imagine that the uniform was very, I feel like it's one of those very standard anime sort of uniform with like the suit sort of thing. But I don't really know much about them. I can imagine the silhouette being paralyzed and you try to force yourself to move just a little to fully wake up. Feels like someone's trying to... Ooh, that is bad. That doesn't sound like a good experience. And I hear about... with sleep paralysis, there's quite a few people who experience just having somebody watching you at the foot of your bed. And I think historically, that's how things like succubuses and incubuses came about, is because people had sleep paralysis and then he constantly imagined a little monster sitting on their chest and making it difficult for them to breathe or get up. Cool history fact, but terrible when you're experiencing it. Oh, poor you. Let's see. The best way to create random characters is silhouettes. I feel like there probably is some sort of spiky hair. I think I've made it too big. We can do that sort of hair. What sort of pose will they have? I don't know. But I imagine that they would have a very confident pose. Some sort of confident, absolute bravado sort of person that thinks that they're a hero. Some sort of... You want to play Skyrim again? I also want to play Skyrim, but I have to fix up my mods. I keep on messing around with my mod folder. I don't know what sort of mess I did with my mods again. Let's see. Goes like that. I don't really... I think they were a girl in the dream, but I'm not really sure. Probably a girl. And they had a pixie cut of some kind. Now, apparently so some of the things about the dream is there was a thing called command cards, and they were... What I wrote was, command cards contain a specific singular ability or command skill embedded into a power paper. Each card has a set limit to how many times the card's power can be used. Once the limit is reached, the card dissolves and can't be used again. There's a lot of things about the power in this dream. There's a thing called... There's a card called Wood Spirit, and it apparently allows the caster to instantly travel to any communication relay point. And it is only available or allowed to be used when attacked by another student. Apparently this whole dream school is a battle royale. See you later, HR Shake. Man, this dream does have a lot of things in it. Hey, I'm going to be uploading this to YouTube as well, so if you have time, you can also check it out there. Because I don't know how to save any of these videos on Twitch, so it'll probably disappear off of Twitch, but if you're free and you're curious about the rest of this story, you can go and watch it on YouTube. So let's see. It says final confrontation. The leader carries Ellie's dying body to the sealed monster to save her from whatever is killing her. When confronted, she admits that whatever is killing her, even if removed, will only give Ellie another day at best. What Ellie needs isn't time but a solution, a proper cure. The leader is smart, but a single day isn't enough. She doesn't care about the consequences. Yeah, and I wrote down on the side note, I barely remember her monologue. So let's see. The two characters that seem to be in this final confrontation is the student council leader, who has always acted in the interest of the school board and the safety of the students. They're essentially a wise and very competent leader. So they're intelligent, diligent. She protects the students and the school from harm and ensures all students follow the rules. A prodigy of some kind. The dream has never explained. Which is very fitting for a dream. They never explain anything. And Ellie, or I think this is a name that the dream came up with, but this is how you spell it. Ilmidia? I think it's Ilmidia. Or something. Her nickname is Illy. I think my dream was playing some sort of weird pun with me. Going, that's an ill girl. She's gonna be called Illy. So the dream has it either spelled as this way or this way. And I don't know why. Sometimes dreams are weird and a lot of the times, you can't read in dreams. Sometimes, words just decide that they want to form in a certain way. And all I know about her is that she's dying from something, and it is slowly making her lose her memory as well. She is comatose and female, and she's partnered with the student council leader. And apparently they're also lovers. I assume. I think that's a conclusion I came up with at the end. I'm gonna make this bigger. So, Ilmidia, or I don't know what her real name is. Oh yeah, the final confrontation. Something about her monologue. She draws out the handbook and states, as the student council leader, I can, if attacked or threatened by any student or board member, am authorized to use the command card, Wood Spirit, to instantly travel to any relay point on site and disengage from any and all combat, as well as being granted immunity from any stunning effects. And apparently, that is where the dream ended. I don't know if I should be, how baffled I should be. Also, why is NVIDIA poking up? Alt-R. Get off of my screen. Oh, nope. Don't know why that's on my screen. shouldn't be on my screen, but apparently it's on my screen. Okay. Don't know why. Oh, I can press that one. Okay, it's gone. It's gone. So let's see. There's no notes about what she looks like. All I know is that she's a girl. That's about it. I don't know. And the student council has no description. Only that she's smart and is a stickler for rules. The other note on this 2-page spread is the student council leader is intelligent and had tried diligently to find a cure for whatever is killing Illy. With no cure or solution in sight, she becomes a desperate mess, willing to risk it all just to save Illy's mind and all. But I don't know anything else about her. I got so much more written down about all of the weird background characters that have no presence. I have a feeling that Illy was a very somewhat delicate sort of girl. And I imagine that she has a very soft sort of appearance. I imagine that she also wears the longest school skirt. And I have a feeling that she probably had long hair. Probably very long hair, but I don't know how long. And then the school council leader, I imagine, probably blonde, probably wore the medium school skirt length. And probably had a much more confident and aura or disposition and stuff. Imagine her hair was much more wavy or something. Probably wild. I don't know. But I imagine that her pose is probably similar to the protagonist in how confident it is, but with a lot more elegance to it. And something about her skirt would be like that. I imagine something like that. Some of the other characters there was a male character with black hair whose partner was a slim male with purple hair. Tall, cool, a gifted and powerful student, and the pride of the school. His partner is a slim, almost feminine male with purple hair. Then there's there's 4 other characters. There's this other pairing, a buff, blonde male and a scruffy, androgynous person. Awkward dork with a heart of gold, he is easily flustered and eager to make friends. He's a healer. His partner is a vibrant, scruffy dumbass who is too energetic and bounces about the room. I don't know who we're describing. anything either. Oh, I don't know. Probably the buff blonde is the dork with a heart of gold, and the vibrant, scruffy dumbass is the scruffy, androgynous person. Then there is the dark-haired female and her twin. They are partners as well. Both seem mysterious and cool, somewhat cold and aloof. These twins are inseparable and work with the highest synchronization recorded at the school. One appears to be more meek and quiet, and the other speaks often on their behalf, acting as the voice and representative. I don't know why the dream gave me all these characters, but I'll be working with them. Let's see. What would Illie's pose be like? Well, majority of the time she seems comatose, so I don't really know if it's necessary to give her a pose. But I imagine she has this sort of very soft sort of... I think the pose almost resembles... you know how when people are buried they usually rest them like their hands in front of them. Makes it less awkward, I don't know. Why do they do that? I don't know. But her hands would constantly be placed there. Almost to give her either ethereal appearance or reminding you that she's very much barely tethered to reality, to the living world. So yeah, this will be how she's designed. And I guess there's a thing... I know that I didn't mention it because it's not written anywhere, but I have been talking a lot about partners and stuff. It's not romantic partners or anything. They have this weird sort of magic system, I think, where they will... It's basically somebody that they work with that will boost their magic. Some of them, like the buff blonde male and the scruffy androgynous person, one of them will be an obvious healer. So I think the idea is that one of the two people is a support. Not necessarily always a healer, but they support the other person. And the protagonist, I guess that's why they're called the Lonely Lion, is that they work without a partner. It's probably the thought that you have to keep your partner alive, because without your partner you can't use magic. That's my assumption. I might be the creator of the world, but... of their world, but I know nothing when it's a dream. Maybe it's not even an outstretched hand. Maybe Yeah. And Illy is probably the support. Some of these characters just don't have a name. Why is she the only one that has a name? I'm gonna assume that there's not actually a real monster. Maybe it's not even a monster at the heart. They say it's the school has some sort of powerful being that can grant any wish. I don't even know what they really are. Are they a monster? Are they a tree? It would make sense if it's a tree, because what if the school has been harvesting the power paper from the tree this entire time, and it's essentially the heart of a school, because without it, power cards can't be made. Man, dreams are weird. And I still haven't found my other book. I just don't know much about these characters. Actually, it would be pretty funny if she's actually smaller than Ellie. Whoops. I don't need to save it. Not yet. So we've got Ellie. Wow! That's the... Oh no, no, no. This has to be spelled with all the little things. And then the leader. I don't know her name. But maybe they're the same height. I don't know. It might be interesting if they're the same height. Man, but did the dream, did my brain just really go, ha ha, we're not gonna give her a proper name, she's a sick girl, we're gonna call her Illy, because she's ill. Do better, Head, do better, Dream. Please. I am very not okay with this weirdness. And I imagine short skirt. I don't know why. I don't know why that's a thought. And then we have a character known as the Lonely Lion. Also known as the protagonist. I've gotta have a better silhouette than this. Better silhouette pose, please. But I can't think of a very heroic pose. imagine that they wear... I think they wore boots or something? Sure, the skirt was kind of short, but I think she wore bike shorts underneath it? I don't know. Aside from her having short hair. And then there was... let's see... So, command cards and a student handbook. Nothing is written about the handbook. And because this dream probably happened more than 10 years ago, or 10 years, I don't know. I don't know if that dream told me what that handbook was for. I imagine all the handbooks would have a wood spirit card. Let's see some of the characters. Maybe that's why the protagonist was so special. Is because they didn't need a partner. Because everybody needs a partner to use magic. And if she's the only one that doesn't need a partner to use magic, that would make her pretty cool. Pretty powerful too. Let me just save this in extra stories. We'll call it the Lonely Lion. Let's see. Oh, man. I think the other way of writing her nickname was literally, woo, Ilmi. Or it could be written as Ilmi? Literally, it's like Illy, Ilmi, Ilmi. I don't know why. Why is that how the dream went? And we're gonna give you only these sort of things? Fascinating. Let's see. Man. Okay, I'm gonna skip the male with black hair and the slim male with purple hair and goes for the more fun, more descriptive buff blonde male and scruffy androgynous person. Let's see. I imagine that they will have a much more wider chin or jawline. And since it just says that he's buff male, let's give him one heck of a chest that goes into like super tiny hips. The base of shoulder is out for that. Yeah, something like that for the guy. He probably skips leg day. I don't know. I don't know. And then the scruffy androgynous guy. person. Don't know why I want this pose. But that's the pose I'm settling for. And, no, scruffy. It's super scruffy. And I think right, his partner is a vibrant, scruffy dumbass who is too energetic and bounces about the room. That's giving me lethargic. So, probably not. Hmm. Maybe hilariously, it'll be small. Small and scruffy. Maybe absolutely wild air. Yeah. And I guess maybe the outfit is just very half tucked and everything. Nah, shorts would be cuter. Long pants that slightly go above ankle because they're probably too long for it. Too tall. And probably can't even keep the blazer button without all the buttons just screaming for their dear life. All of his clothes, maybe hilariously, he had the worst growth spurt. He's trying his best to look decent. He can't help it if his clothing just doesn't fit him. Let's see. 2 dark-haired female twins. I don't know why, but I have the image. The very standard, you know, that very standard long hair and stuff with the sharp cut fringe. And these will be drawn together. Yeah, we got a bunch of pretty cool silhouettes for each character. I gotta need to figure out a better way of doing that thing. I mean, a better overlay where things are easier to see and stuff. Now I have to do the two weird, the two barely descriptive people. The male with black hair and the slim male with purple. Probably somebody that you're expecting for. I guess if it was like a proper story, it'll be somebody you would immediately go, main male lead character. Is there a male lead? I don't know. Probably not, because me. Probably has his hand in his pocket. I imagine it's a very smooth sort of haircut. And then I'm also gonna assume the slim male purple one has long hair. Something like that. These are very... I don't know what I think is happening. Way to the top with nonsense. I'm talking to myself at this moment. And I'm recording this to put it on YouTube as well. But I'm going to shorten this somehow. Maybe if I don't talk for a couple of minutes while I'm drawing, but I don't know. I also like to talk to myself when I'm confused. It's also why I close the door. I get a bit awkward. Should I immediately jump to something fun like drawing these two people? I really want to draw this little guy. But I also really want to draw the big guy. I also kind of want to draw this girl. You two are boring, and you are kind of confusing me. Let's see. You two might help me decide what the uniform might look like. Actually, I decided I want to draw her. Let's see. How will we do this? Well, I'm assuming I probably shouldn't have made you quite as huge. Probably this much bigger. That way I can do a whole deal of using these blocks to figure out what your body shape looks like. I want you to be quite delicate looking. I'm gonna make it quite thin. Mostly because she's comatose. So I don't think she's been eating anything. And I kind of want to give her that very barely tethered to life and stuff. What better than to go a skeletal body and thin limbs. Makes her look ghostly. I just can't stop thinking about skeletons now, thanks. But I don't like it anymore. Let's do it even better. Let's break it down by shapes. What sort of shapes? I don't know what shapes. Let's see. Let's start with the body. Ignore the head. Just body. Let me drink my tea. Let's see. No, that makes it hard to see. Let's go with that. Let's see. And pretty things are hard to draw. Well, hard and also not that fun because they're very very particular about things and stuff. Let's break it down by where things are. So far, her proportions go normal. But if I want to make it very extreme, I can raise her hips up a bit and it'll give her a very different sort of feel. Because let's give you a normal sort of where it's halfway. Let me just double check. Yep, halfway. And then you put a head here, shoulders here, and then you put the waist in the usual place. That's how the body would look. Now, let's say I raise the hips to up there, keep the head in roughly the same area, and then we put the shoulders there, and we say the average sort of waist, and then we put the legs down. That gives a whole different feel to it. So, if I want to give her... I don't know what I want to give her. Would be also interesting to... I think giving her normal proportions would still be okay. But let's move the... If we move the waistline to here, it's very different. So let's move it up here, and we have something else. So yeah, maybe we can have it that way. We can still keep it as having the shoulders and the hips being exactly the same in width, so that we can have something else. Yeah. And then with that sort of proportion, with the top proportion really settled, we can then ask the question of how should we shape these legs? Should it be... Because we have multiple options, we can raise her knees up for dramatic amount of calves. It would also give her this appearance of having very long legs, I assume. I mean, sure, weirdly shaped legs. Yeah, I'm assuming that would be pretty good too. But only by a little bit. Now, there is the other assumption of legs, where we can do for bottom heavy, or we can do where it tapers into the thing. So like this. I basically love doing this as chippy sort of things. But we can basically have it as this very thin sort of thing, and we end up with smaller feet. Or I can do it with a much more, where it goes heavier towards the calves and then larger feet. I think for her it will work with a more delicate sort of thing of how so smaller feet towards the end, to give her this feeling of being very dainty and delicate and barely tethered to reality. So yeah, let's go for that. We will rise her waistline to up here. And then her legs will have this feeling of barely being there. And then her head. I haven't decided what shape. But I assume a very gentle sort of elliptical sort of head. And her pose will resemble somebody in a coffin. Yeah. This is the design for her. Ah, my wrist is itchy. Life but unstable. Much like everything about me. That's a terrible phrase, actually. Do I really want to record? I mean, that's the thing. Do I really want to be here for until 12? I don't know. It depends on how much fun I'm having, I guess. Oh no, don't disconnect me and reconnect. Oh no! Hey, phone! Kinda rude of you. Hey, phone! Wait, you like this? Phone! It's very rude of you. You back? Are you back? Reconnection successful. Live, unstable. Just like me, I am alive, but unstable. Wait. I don't even know what her front hair would be like. Maybe that sort of long one. We can go with that. We can even go with that. But I already have 2 people I'm gonna give that hairstyle to, and I don't want any more. How about that? Yeah, we'll just do that way. So she's wearing the standard school uniform. And I think this is her blazer. Can't be bothered doing this properly. When I draw them all properly. I imagine that she has the softest expression. I think they have pleated skirts. I'm very lazy, I don't feel like drawing. There's so much detail. Wait, blazers don't usually show off their pockets. They're sort of like that. She's a very long girl. I don't know if I'm still... Am I still live? Because I can't see anything. I am! I don't even know what color any of them are. I imagine she wears the Mary Jane type shoes. That's what they're called, right? Mary Janes? I'll just call her Ilmi, this layer. And then now, we will look at... Should I immediately go for her partner? Yeah, I'll go for her partner. Gonna need a proper name for her too. Oops. Ah. Yeah, like that. Now let's see, what would her body shape be like? Let's see. This is slightly above halfway. This is halfway. I think I'm gonna give her slightly above halfway for her hips. Because I want to give her a very proud, sort of confident, almost like as if she constantly has her chest stuck out. Yeah, Ilmi's gonna be flat as a board. Yeah, I want her shoulders to be more wide than her hips. But not too wide, because then that's... Actually, just a bit. And I'll give her a slightly normal waistline. Want her to slightly have feminine curves. But I want her to... Because I want just the skirt to be the thing that flares out. Yeah, let's see for her legs. Yeah, more normal. And now that I decided that, let's give her head. Let's give her head like that. Let's see, that's the line for the body. And then we just... Yeah. Usually people will look at that sort of body shape and go, that's a man. But I just want more for the feel of it. And also, who cares? And hair. I'll make her less like a man by giving her actual breasts. I'll do that for you. And her legs, unlike Ilmi, which has very gentle curves for her body, gonna make her legs more shapely. Yeah. Also, I have this feeling that I don't know, but yeah, that's better. So she uses a sword as her weapon. Yep. I live next to a highway. I'm joking, it's just the main road. Something, I don't know, I'm gonna just give random shapes now. I don't know what these shapes mean, but feel like it fits her perfectly. I don't know, I want to give her high heels, but I don't think that's very practical. They're magic heels. Who cares? Great, more ads. Okay. Private Hawkins at AIViewStreamBoo.com. Great. I'm lonely enough to not need AI. And I think she will have like a very fierce eyes. So for a lot of people, they will go to Elmi for help. Let's see, who next? Who next? Maybe they can be last. No, maybe. They're fun looking. Let's do the guy first. He looks fun. Most of the good things are built up already. I mean, I can make it even more interesting. I can just... Maybe if I do this, maybe? Yeah. Let's see. We give him this sort of long oval for his chest. In this shape. And then from here we can probably add a bit more fleshy bits here and here. And we can give him some of those legs. This big old buff guy? Yeah, he's the healer. He's a big old softy with a heart of gold. He's just so happy to be here. And apparently his shirt barely fits him. The buttons are bursting at the seams. And his tie! I guess he hasn't bought a new uniform yet. His uniform is much smaller than he is. And it's probably bursty. I imagine he had a lot of trouble trying to fit into his uniform. He's not purposely indecent. He just can't help it. And even more unfortunate is his pants. They show so much skin. The poor guy is probably struggling. I'm gonna call him Himbo Healer. And then now we have his little partner. This person I seem to know immediately what they look like. I have no idea what they look like. All I know is that they got scruffy hair. But also the group's damage, his damage dealer. Ow. Yeah, I'm sorry. Infinity channel points. 0 bits infinity channel point. I'm gonna call him Scruffy. For now. Three, two, one, come on. Okay. Who should I yeah. I'm avoiding the difficult ones. She looks so easy to draw. I can even give her a long face. Also, this still already leaves little work for me. It's like everything was decided. I want her to be very thin. With knobbly leaves. I don't know why I want knobbly knees on her. Yeah, the twins are like there. I want to stop screaming right now. Yeah, but at 11:30 I stopped streaming, honestly. I also want to discuss about the command cards. The only command card that I was very certain of is the Wood Spirit. But there must be other cards too. This is a straight up runaway card. I imagine they would look something like these things. They either have little descriptions, or they're just full on tarot card styles with no words, just text that tells the name and stuff like that. Maybe that's what the student handbook is for. Maybe each student every single student handbook tells you what each card does, so that when they get the card, they're not completely baffled. I think the vaguest memory of what that card looked like, there was some sort of face here, and somehow the eyes were very sinister looking, with jagged teeth. And that was the wood spirit card. Maybe there were more than... Maybe there can be more than command cards. Maybe they'll have... Maybe there are cards called command cards, but then... I don't know. I don't know what happened in my brain when I was dreaming that time. Now I just want to draw them as chibis. Because usually those are fun. I don't know what I'm drawing. Maybe I can draw her face first, before I do anything like chipify her. Man, I can't wait to describe the other weird dreams I have. Once I find the books for them all. I seem to write them in every book. There is no dream book. There is books that I just write whatever in, and then it just ends up being a dream. This book I found in my wardrobe, so don't know why it was there. No, I don't like that face. I'm starting to regret not buying a screen protector. Actually, you know what? We can just grab that face, enlarge it. Maybe not that big. Maybe not that big. Just enough for me to figure out what's happening. And let's lighten it up. Let's figure out what she looks like. I have no idea what she looks like. Looks like these should be the eyes. Let me put this down on the actual table and not on my weird stand so that I can figure things out. And move my headphones up here so that I can stop bumping into it. Let's see. Yeah, I think that sort of gentle curve would be good for the eyes. Gonna be roughly assuming what she looks like because I don't actually know. I don't know what she looks like. I have no idea what she should look like sometimes. Ooh, my head's itchy. These pens are always fun. I'm being honest, I know nothing about her in the stream. Other than that she was very sick. She was sick, she was comatose. Everything was wrong. although I say that partners aren't necessarily romantic or anything in this thing, some of them would have that sort of romantic relationship. I think Ilmi and the student council leader was probably they probably had a romantic relationship. I'm assuming because there's no. I mean, in that dream there was a lot that was implying that the relationship was romantic. And that's just the dream weirdly putting everything together. Or it's me putting it together after a dream because the dream didn't give me enough clues about why is she so focused on making sure she doesn't die. I mean, I'm actually not really sure um, if they only have one partner and they can't change it. I think there might be a precedent for being able to change partners when the circumstances call for it. But it's kind of hard to say. So it was a one-time dream after all. No answers when it comes to a one-time dream. I don't think you can really have much answers. I can't remember which way the buttons go. There's a thing about men's and women's buttons being on the opposite direction, and I can't remember which direction it is. Eh, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna cover it with a bow tie. I mean a tie. At this point, you can see why the student council didn't want to let Emily die. She's very cute. Think her hair should be a fairly neutral brownish color. Whoops, Daisy. I think, at least. Because I think it'll be interesting to have her look somewhat average looking. Too bright. Nope. Nope. At this point, just better to do it like this. This is just a rough idea of what I think she might look like. Hey, nothing set in stone. Let's give her some rosiness. Yeah. That's how I assume she looks. I could keep going for another hour, but I don't want to, so I'm ending stream. If you want to watch this again from the very beginning, go to my YouTube page, also known as Insane Chalk on YouTube. Well, and also, since that's going on YouTube, I'll just tell all the YouTube people that you can come to Twitch on Wednesdays. Twitch has a wonderful calendar that tells you, that converts the time to wherever you are. So you can watch me there when I'm live. And you can see this all unedited. I'm gonna attempt to edit this, so